Thank you for joining me. We are in the home stretch. Ha 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 ha. This is movement number 4 of Huang Xiangxiang's 5 loosening exercises, and this is the one that makes me question whether or not he knew how to count. As this is not one movement. I don't care how you slice it, it is not one movement. This is a movement that is supposed to specifically focus on loosening of the tendons. Now we've got tendons all over our body, and we're going to, through a bunch of different exercises in this one movement, focus on different areas where a bunch of tendons do tend to converge and meet, and we're going to be moving through those and working on different ways of almost doing a very light stretch, a very light opening of those areas that tend to be chronically tight. And the main thing that I think he's trying to get at by calling this one exercise or movement loosening of the tendons is the way that we are going to envision our tendons, the way we are going to interact with them. We want to have a very specific type of stimulus to work on the tendons, and the tendons do not like hard, intense sort of stuff. Our tendons work best when they are really springy, and we want to embody a certain springiness to all of our movements in this, and that's what we're really going to focus on. We're going to try and visualize that we can always be a little more springy, a little more rubbery, and any movements that we do where we're going to challenge and quote unquote stretch something out, we're going to do it like, maybe a couple of millimeters, and we're just going to kind of just pulse at it a little bit, like a little springy, bouncy pulse sort of thing. Not a hardcore stretch or, pushing through or creating tension because we're trying to loosen stuff. We want to do the thing that makes our tendons kind of go, yeah, I can get behind that. And that is a very light, small, springy type action. So with that in mind, we're going to start off movement number 4. Feet parallel, squared up, horse stance, where we finish movement number 3, where most stuff happens in Qigong. Nice medium frame horse stance, hips nice and level, tall through the top of the head, nice loose relaxed breath. Don't worry too much about it, don't stress out about your breath. As a matter of fact, we want the exact opposite thing, just loose, relaxed, no tension, don't worry about stuff. Don't worry about too many details or specifics. Hopefully, we've got our horse stance pretty much dialed in now. We can hang out here comfortably. We don't need to think about it too much. We just need to maintain it. And from our finishing position in movement number 3, we just come out of swinging and we came back to a nice relaxed horse stance, arms at our sides. What we're going to start doing is we're going to open up across the front of our chest as we breathe in. And as we breathe in, we want to expand our chest a little bit, not like, just a little bit, just opening up that chest, giving ourselves a little bit of a, again, like we climbed a hill or a mountain or whatever, got to some nice rarefied non-basement air and wanted to take a nice big breath, we'd go. And with that opening, the way we're really going to get it, the way we're going to focus on it, is by rolling these long bones in our arms backwards and away. If I were to do that from the side, it becomes easier to see. Down in a horse stance, arms relaxed by my side. And as I breathe in, feel this rolling. Shoulders roll and open up. So, horse stance, roll, open up. And I want to create a little bit of a drag across my hips. As my shoulders roll here, I get a dragging motion here, right? My arms drag, roll open, breathing in. This whole thing rolls open. As that happens, my shoulder blades, in order to keep my shoulders down, my shoulder blades have to pull in close to my spine and keep a little bit of pressure falling down my back. So I'm not picking up my shoulders as I do this, as I roll. I want to keep my shoulders nice and low. And for this here, we're really going to feel that kind of centered in our mid-upper back. And those are probably the tendons that we are going for in this particular part of the movement, is all those attachment points along our spine there. Again, we want to have sort of a bit of a rubbery feeling. So we don't want to feel like these are two steel doors slamming together, more like they're two Nerf doors going boom as they close. So our shoulders are going to go boom and just have a little bit of a springy feeling back there, right? We don't want to crunch them together. It's just more like a spring, a soft. Okay. From there, we're going to reverse the movement. We're going to open up that area on our back. So we go from so that area that closes down on my shoulder blades, I want to push that back out. So it's almost like those Nerf doors kind of came together and bounced back. Close, bounce. Close, bounce. And we're going to do this very slow, so it's not going to be much of a bouncing action. It's more just a visualization. You can feel the nerve coming together in slow-mo and bouncing back out. To bring it back around, our arms are hanging out at our side here. We breathe in, they rotate back. As they bounce out of there, my back opens up, my chest closes. So I rotate those bones again. And what I want to do is I want to bring my hands together, almost like I'm going to pray or something like that. And I'm going to press my palms together so that the longest bones of my arms meet up in terms of force. They're going to pass through my wrist straight into these palms, but it is the force of these long bones that are meeting and pressing together. So it's like I'm pressing the palms here in together, rotating the long bones open, rotating the long bones closed, and meet precisely point to point, so that as those bones close, rotating open, rotating closed, rotating open, rotating closed. And that's going to create a big movement in our shoulders and our shoulder blades and our chest. This whole thing is going to be moving and opening and closing. Now, again, when our palms meet and we talk about these forces of these bones coming together and pressing in, This is a tendon exercise, so we're working on the springiness of this. So this isn't a close. This is we want these to feel like, again, like Nerf things coming together, but Nerf things coming together in a firm fashion. So Nerf coated steel. And if we get that feeling just right, where these two things are meeting and squishy, what's going to happen as these push together, the opposite force is going to happen in my back, where those same tissues that I had closed down here open up and then press together. Those tissues get an extra little and opening up across the back. So we just want to very gentle, we want to open that up very gently, and again, like steel coated Nerf, just as these two things press together and sort of collapse and fall away. Just a tiny little, like an ounce or two of pressure, like almost nothing, just enough so that we feel that opening up across the back of our spine. Breathing in, rotate, open up across the chest, collapse the shoulder blades together, rotate those long bones, keeping the shoulders down, hands come together, palms come together, press with an ounce or two of pressure, just enough to feel that next to our spine open back up, and let our arms continue to rotate. Hands come down, pull them back, dragging them across our waist. Rotate those long bones in our arms. Let the palms come together. Press together, elbows drop, creating that little opening across the back, springy. And rotate, open, and keep doing that. Now we got to add a little bit of up-down to it. So we started out down in horse stance, Mabu, and as we breathe in, our arms rotate and we stand up, breathing in to the top. As our hands come together and we make contact, we breathe out. Dropping back down. Breathing in, pull. Standing up. As we make contact, breathe out. Breathing in. Okay, so that was the first part of this movement. And this section finishes, or this part of this movement finishes up basically at the top when we come together. Rather than just letting our hands drop on our last rep, we've breathed in, we're going to breathe out. We open up our palms, like offering or asking, however you want to visualize it for yourself, just opening up our palms. Then we're going to keep this motion going, rolling our hands back in to kind of a prayer position, you could almost think of it as. Now this particular prayer position, what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and have our palms exactly opposite each other, and our elbows and forearms parallel to the ground and pressed straight. So elbow to wrist alignment is absolutely straight in line all the way across. And then this is really going to emphasize that opening across our back. So this is going to be kind of where we like give it one last, give it that, like 3% extra. So this was a very soft opening across the back. When we pressing here and letting that fall away, tiny tension, let it fall. Tiny tension, let go of that tension. So we open up the palms, rotating as much as we can our long bones, rotating those long bones back in, lining everything up, and giving ourselves that 3% extra opening across the back. Just using the weight and the alignment of this structure to really open up across our upper back. Now just pulling this into here, opening up across the back. Hands up, pulling in, opening across the back. Hands out, pulling in, opening across the back. So that's kind of our last little extra push, but again, not really pushing. We're focusing on tendons here, so we really want to give it more of a springy, right? Just a springy, bouncy feeling. When we do that, from there, we're going to get that bounce. That bounce is going to come back out forward into a diamond. So this is like we're going to do our diamond push-ups, only we're not going to do those because they hurt. Maybe we'll get to it eventually. But we're going to come back out to a diamond. And from there, we're going to make use of that special relationship between knees and elbows again. And when we're in our diamond, we're going to bend our knees and our elbows are going to pull down at the same rate as our legs bend. However, this time we're going down. Hopefully to the point where our elbows touch our knees. That might not be achievable right away. It's just a goal to get to. Don't stress out about it too much. Whatever you can do is cool. Most importantly, again, trying to create that elbow to knee connection from the diamond there, pulling down, same rate, same pull. As my knees bend, my elbows drop and pull. I feel my whole body move as one unit. And the whole thing goes down until my elbows touch my knees. And from here, you are going to pause. You are not going to attempt to do a single thing that I am going to do from here on out until you've watched the whole thing. Because the whole next section of this is going to be bent over, and there is absolutely no way you can be bent over and relaxed while twisting your neck and trying to look up at whatever device you're watching this on. So watch the whole thing through. Believe me, it's not that interesting. You don't need to try it right away. You can always go back and redo the sections. Do not, I repeat, do not try and follow along right away, bent over and crane your neck up to look at the screen. You're gonna hurt something. Please don't do it. You might have guessed. We were down here, holding the diamond position, elbows on knees. The next point that we're going to do is we are going to unbend our knees, trying to keep that same alignment with our upper body, and straighten our legs kind of as much as we can. Don't worry about getting them all super straight. Okay, so just straighten up,
as much as you can. When you've straightened up as much as you can, let go of everything you possibly can in your upper body. Just hang out there, right? So the sequence goes: breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, tip, breathing out, let it all go. Okay, so from here, we're pretty much bent over for all of this. Now, this is a moment where I put in my own little special sauce on this Qigong, and I add a little PNF stretch to it. And essentially what that means is, as we're bent over, we are going to contract as hard as we can a group of muscles on an in-breath, and on an out-breath we're going to relax that concentration, and we are going to enjoy the relaxation that gives us, not just in that group of muscles but that we were stressing, but the muscles adjacent to it, which tend to be a bit of a problem for a lot of people. And if you cannot just straighten your legs up straight out of that position and hang out there, which I can sometimes do on a good day, then adding this stretch is a really awesome way to improve that sort of functionality. And what we're going to do is, when we are bent over and we're just hanging out there, without putting any stress on the rest of our system, what we want to do is we want to try and squeeze our glutes together. So glutes, our butt muscles, we're going to try and squeeze them together as hard as we can. Use whatever visualization you want. I'm not going to suggest any in this format. There's no good ones. There's a lot of funny ones, but whatever works for you to get your glute muscles firing and just clamped on as hard as you possibly can, that's what we're going for. So we're going to be bent over, and I'm going to be here. My legs aren't straight, my knees aren't locked. I don't have that level of flexibility, but I'm hanging out here. And what I want to do is, as I breathe in, I'm going to clamp down on those glute muscles, try and squeeze them together. And as I exhale, I'm going to notice that not only do my glutes want to relax, but also my hamstrings are going to get a little more relaxation. So I'm hanging out here, and I'm going to breathe in, and I'm going to squeeze the glutes, and breathe out, and I can get a little more flexibility. Breathe in, squeeze the glutes, and breathe out, and I get a little bit more flexibility. So I like to add that in because it helps with the loosening and the relaxation, and everything goes along with this, and it really helps us get into a straighter leg and more relaxed hamstring position. So I think it goes really great with these exercises. Honestly, it's not part of the way I learned it or anyone else that I've seen. I take responsibility for this one particular thing in here. If you want to toss it out for sake of originality, go right for it. It's just a thing I like to add. Now from here, I think we get back into what Huang Shangxian actually intended for this series of exercises. Again, working on the tendons, so we're looking for a rubbery sort of feel. And when we're bent over like this, there is definitely a set of tendons that we can go for pretty hard, really want to visualize, try and work on. That is hanging out pretty much attached to our tailbone, or where our tailbone meets our pelvis, this sort of area, these big balls of muscles and tendons on this side here. And we're going to be attacking that a lot while we are bent over like this. We want to try and get feeling, sensation, mind-body connection in there, and we want to work that in a very light and springy fashion. We don't want to stress that. We don't want to pull or tear. So don't go too hard at any of this stuff. And the first thing we're going to do, hanging out loose and relaxed there, is we're going to try and do a couple of what I call double touches. So hanging out loose and relaxed, legs as straight as we can get them, or as straight as is comfortable. And my arms are just going to hang down, and I want to get to the point where my fingertips are about 1 millimeter or 2 off of the ground. Stretching my spine nice and long. And what I want to do is I just want to reach forward so that my fingertips are again a couple of millimeters off the ground. And then I'm just going to go touch, touch. Very light, very gentle, just touch, touch. Just going that extra millimeter and keeping a springy feeling about this. Right? Touch, touch. And once I've done my double touch forward, 1, 2, reaching out from the back there, 1, 2. Then I'm going to bring my hands back, kind of aiming backwards as far as I can, but we're still just keeping my fingertips a couple of millimeters off the ground. And I want to go touch, touch. Forward swing, reaching forward from my spine, touch, touch. Reaching back, and again, opening up across the back of my hips here, touch, touch. Reaching forward, opening from that spot, touch, touch. Reaching back, opening up across the top of her butt there, touch, touch. So those are our double touches. Again, light and springy. It is more important that we keep our spine long and as relaxed as we possibly can. Then our legs need to be absolutely 100% straight. We're not going to go any more than a couple of millimeters extra little pulses. We're not, trying to reach way out there, tear anything like that. It's more important that we just get the feeling of lengthening, of stretching, and that slight reaching out from back here, reaching that forward, up, and down and back, forward and back. So that's our double touch series, opening up from across here. The next one that is that we would do here is my God, how did I just gap that? Ooh. 28 minutes in. Okay, touch, touch, touch. Oh, right, of course. Okay. Sorry, I've been doing a whole bunch of these today. Next, we're going to work on drags. I call them forward drags and backwards drags. And essentially what we're going to be doing is we are going to be dragging either our fingertips or our fingernails across the ground. Again, we are going to try and be reaching out and opening up here across our sacrum, across the top of our ilium. Just this whole area, we want to open that up and try and get as much of the movement from there as we possibly can. Also, what these dragging movements are going to do is where we really want to feel the drag is not necessarily the connection on the ground. It is the drag that is going to place on our shoulder blade. So if I'm bent over here and I'm dragging my fingertips or my fingernails along the ground, I'm getting this sort of a motion. this sort of thing, right? My fingertips or fingernails are along the ground. That's going to create a line of force that goes up over my back and is pulling on my shoulder blade, lengthening out my shoulder blade. All right? It's going to cause that extra little bit of drag to happen there. So even though I'm dragging my fingers on the ground, I want to feel what that does to my shoulder blade, how that is going to kind of pull. Now, I'm going to be doing this both arms at the same time. So my forward drags, I'm bent over, hanging out here again. And I want to feel this movement from the back, opening up, feel that drag coming on my shoulder blades as much as I can. Forward drags, dragging the fingernails along the ground, feeling that pull in my shoulder blades. And it's a very gentle thing. Again, this is all gentle movement, relaxation, no stress. We're not trying to like yank at anything in there. We just want basically a gentle sensation, this tiny little bit of friction on the backs of our fingers, on our fingernails there. It's going to create a tiny little bit of drag in our shoulder blades. We're going to just create a connection between what we feel in our fingers and what we feel in our shoulder blades. Sorry about the heating system again. I'm just going to push through it. I'm trying to get these all done tonight. Next, we're going to do the backwards drags, and the backwards drags is essentially the same thing, only we're dragging our fingertips along the ground, and once again we are searching for that connection to our shoulder blades. So as this hand pulls back, it's going to create a different kind of drag on my shoulder. So there's a drag that happens this way and a drag that happens this way. Right? So both hands together, dragging back, dragging back, dragging back, dragging back. So that becomes forward drags and backwards drags. Again, very loose, very light, just trying to feel a little bit of that connection and that dragging force from our fingernails or our fingertips to our scapula. Feel how that is moving, and again working on that light, springy, tendony feeling basically in next to our sacrum. Okay, after that we're going to do a bit of a shake, as I like to call it. So bent over, we have done double taps, forward drags, backward drags, and now shake. And the shake, if I do it standing up, is going to be arms up, and from behind it would be like my fingers are way up here because I'm inverted. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my shoulder blade down my back. So it's going to be pulling shoulder blades down. That's all I'm trying to do, is just move my shoulder blades in a fashion on my back. Now, of course, upside down, that means that my shoulders are naturally hanging down, and I want to just pull the shoulder blade up, pull the shoulder blade up, pull the shoulder blade up, pull the shoulder blade up. That's going to be the source of my motion for this, and I want to get them going opposite and loose and relaxed. And what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and generate kind of a shake and a wave that just kind of goes up my spine. It starts in between my shoulder blades and is going to shake its way all the way up to my tailbone, and I want to let this motion shake my tail essentially. And so we're going to use that as my loosening once again to get into that area right beside my tailbone and really loosen that area up. So bent over, shoulder blades hang down naturally, and then I just want to
shake this and let it move my spine and let it move all the way up, and my attention is going to move up into my tailbone so that I can feel that just shaking across here and opening up and loosening this out. All right? So that's the area we really want to relax on this. And once you get used to hanging upside down and you don't pass out, you can just hang out in this one for a long time and let that shake itself out. It feels great. Or if you're doing this part of this set, just do it a few times till you get the feeling back there, and then we move on to the next one. And the next one, we are doing twists. I'm going to reiterate this again. We did our double touches, we did forward drags, backward drags, we just did a shake, and now we are going to do the twist. And the twist is basically the same twist we were doing in movement number 1, only we're doing it inverted now. So that means we are twisting through our hips and our waist. So we're mainly want this to really start from that rotation in our hips, and we can do that, access that the same way we're doing it in our movement basics, where we are basically trying to twist our toes out while keeping our feet still on the ground. So as one foot wants to twist, rotate out, the other foot wants to twist in and out and in and out. Just twisting, 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 right? Or we're going to do that bent over. And so bent over, that becomes, might be sideways, best way to look at this, I don't know. Hanging out here loose and relaxed. We just did our shake and we're feeling really loose, and we're feeling right into our glutes, deep in our hip sockets there. And then we're going to start twisting. So I might try and twist these toes in this way and twist these toes out, rotating with my, twisting through my waist, and rotate through the hips and the waist. Hips and the waist, hips and the waist.
All right, so the trick with that one is just keeping our mind down into our hips and letting that twisting action in here power this whole movement, and making it feel as light and again as springy as possible. So just give it a little twist and let the body just kind of and bounce back and forth, really loose and relaxed, feeling how that is going to stretch and relax and open and make this whole area again back here nice and springy. After that, there is another movement that I have seen added, and it isn't in all versions of this. I don't know where it came along from, but it feels great, so I do it. And essentially that is going to be adding some shoulder rolls in. And our shoulder rolls, if you've never done one, I don't know how you've never done one, but we're going to bring our shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. And then just round that out. Just do a nice, loose, relaxed shoulder roll. All right. Don't worry too much about it. Just loose and relaxed. And if we want to add a little pizzazz to it, we can work on rotating this long bone as we go forward,
rotating that long bone as we go back, forward, back, rotate, rotate, add a little bit of extra to this. And then of course we do that inverted, so upside down. Again, just loose, relax, hanging out here, legs as straight as they happen to be, and then we go up our back, rotate forward, let them drop down, spiral, rotate, 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 rotate. All right, and do that a number of times, whatever number you pick. And like I said, that's not in all versions of this that I have seen, but man, it feels great, does wonders for my shoulders, so I always add it in there. From there though, you're gonna get out of all of these forms basically the same, in that our feet are parallel, we're bent over, we're hanging out here as straight as possible. We're gonna bend our knees and try and get our center of gravity as low as we can get it. And once it's as low as we can get it, we're still leaving our shoulders and head down. We're gonna start standing up, kind of as straight as we can, trying to get our pelvis nice and flat first. And once our pelvis is nice and aligned, we're gonna start building up vertebrae by vertebrae, stacking them all up on top of each other, one at a time, piece by piece. And that should delay our shoulders coming up and our head coming up. And being as straight as we possibly can at the top, really making sure we extend out the top of our head and get as straight as we possibly can. And we're returning to Taoist awaits the dawn. If you've been through our basic standing, that is position number 2, Taoist awaits the dawn. Horse stance, parallel, hips level, tall through the top of the head, relaxed arms at the side. So that again, we were bent over. We drop our center of gravity as low as we can get it. Start standing up. Try and get our pelvis level. Once our pelvis is level, we move up vertebrae by vertebrae, leaving our shoulders and our head last, tall as we can get. Taoist awaits the dawn. And that, after 43 minutes of explanation, is movement number 4, loosening the tendons. As I said, creative accounting. All together, we finished off movement number 3 in Mabu, horse riding stance. We breathe in, shoulders open up, chest opens. As our hands touch, we breathe out, pressing the palms together, widening the shoulder blades. The arms keep rotating, breathing in, drag across the front, open the chest. Breathing in. Do that a number of times. Last one. In.
Extra press in the shoulder blades. Breathing in. Diamond. Out. Knees to elbows. Straighten the legs. Breathing in. Out. Let go. Breathe in. Squeeze the glutes. Breathe out. Relax. Breathe in. Squeeze the glutes. Breathe out, relax. Double touch, forward. Reaching forward from the sacrum. 1, 2. Reaching back from the sacrum. 1, 2. Reaching forward from the sacrum. 1, 2. Reaching back from the sacrum. 1, 2. Forward drags, feel it on our shoulder blades. 1, 2. Backwards drags on our shoulder blades. 1, 2. Give our shoulders a shake. Let it shake up our spine till we feel it in our tailbone. Then twists through the hips, loose and relaxed. Give our shoulders a roll. Bend our knees, get our weight, our center as low as we can. Stand up, leaving everything loose. Get our pelvis level. Stack our vertebrae up on top of that. Leaving the shoulders and the head for last. Coming up straight. Tall through the top of the spine. Taoist awaits the dawn. That's movement number 4, loosening the tendons. That was epic. Good work. We're almost there. Movement number 5. You might want to take a break before we attempt this one. This one's really going to make our legs work. So when you're ready for that, we'll see you in the next video.